History is an important topic that we all learn in school, either from our teacher or from that, big metal TV cart that they used to roll into class. They made us all so happy. You know what I'm talking about. But what if I told you that some of the things that you learned about history are rather inaccurate? This is Myths You Still Believe, the series all about explaining the truth behind today's most commonly believed myths. Today, we're going to look far back into the past and reveal the truth about some of the newly found lies about the oldest of times. This is 7 historical myths you still believe. Edison invented the light bulb. For over a century, Thomas Edison has been praised for his incredible inventions. In fact, with over 1,093 patents to his name, it shouldn't be surprising that some inventions have been credited to him unfairly. One of the biggest being the thing that we use every day, the light bulb. Over 40 years before Edison was even born, the light bulb was invented by an English scientist named Sir Humphrey Davy, yet Edison is the one who receives all the credit to this day. This is mostly because Davy's bulb could only last around 12 hours before the filament broke. Edison, or more specifically his lab technicians, found the right filament that would burn for days, which, granted, was a great achievement. It's just that the light bulb itself was not his invention, he simply improved upon it. Napoleon was a dwarf. Napoleon Bonaparte, a military strategist and political figure, rose to power and became a leader for France during the French Revolution. Despite his many victories and legendary leadership, it was widely believed, even to this day, that he was a little person. Well, this myth can actually be traced back to several sources, however the main one being British propaganda and his nickname which he acquired early in his military career, named the Little Corporal. Surprisingly, this title actually has nothing to do with his size, but instead mocked his low rank when he was the first to successfully lead units into victory. In truth, Napoleon stood about 5 feet 6 inches, which is in no way considered a dwarf. Now, that being said, of course, he wasn't the tallest of generals, but definitely not the shortest. George Washington was America's first president. Woo, this one's gonna blow some of your minds. See, while Napoleon was leading a revolution to liberate France, the man most considered to be the first president of the United States was making it well known that America was not going to get involved. However, and get ready for this one, George Washington was technically not the first president. No, in fact, the United States in Congress assembled appointed Peyton Randolph the first president during the American Revolution, and Washington was quickly made the commander of the new American Continental Army. 8 years after General Washington's forces defeated the British, he became America's first popularly elected president, the first president under the new Constitution, yes, but in actuality, he was the 15th president to lead the United States. Vikings wore horned helmets. The idea that Vikings, a battle-hardened group that practiced more strategy than you might think, would wear such a ridiculous thing into battle is completely false, despite what most of us have thought all of these years. In reality, horns on a helmet would simply give the enemy something to aim for when trying to knock the head protection off of the Viking, or when trying to grab something to pull the warrior down. No, actually, archaeological evidence indicates that most Vikings went bareheaded or wore leather headgear, sometimes reinforced with wood. A probable source of this myth is found in romanticized versions of Viking artwork that appeared around the mid-17th century to 18th century and was popularized in the 19th century. The USA became independent on July 4th, 1776. Once again, America, get ready to have your world rattled. When the night sky lights up next 4th of July, remember what you're actually celebrating, America. Now, while it is definitely true that the Declaration of Independence was signed by the founding fathers of the United States on July 4th, 1776, the war actually lasted another 7 years. The truth is, independence was officially won from England on September 3rd, 1783, when British King George III and US leaders signed the definitive Treaty of Peace. This truly marked the beginning of a free America, and what's celebrated on July 4th isn't the official day of true freedom, but instead the anniversary of of the Declaration of Independence being signed. Witches were burned at the Salem witch trials. Modern pop culture has given life to this myth. During the Salem witch trials of 1692, over 150 people were arrested under the ignorant suspicion of being a user of dark magic. Of them, 31 were tried and 20 were executed. Also, of the 31 who were tried, 6 of them were actually men. While movies and dark novels will tell you about witches being tied to large trunks and burned as they stood there screaming, this was actually not the method of execution. The witches were actually all hanged, except for one who was crushed to death with heavy rocks. Ouchie! Columbus first claimed that the Earth was round. When Christopher Columbus set sail on the first of his 4 voyages from Spain on August 3rd, 1492, his intention was exploration, not a science expedition to prove the shape of the Earth. In fact, it was the ancient Greeks who were among the first to claim that the world was round, so by the 15th century there was barely anyone who still believed that the world was flat, though Columbus actually believed it to be pear-shaped. This myth was created by author Washington Irving over 500 years after the discovery of America. Irving's biography of Columbus twisted the motives for his journey in an attempt to prove to skeptical royalty that they were wrong about the world being flat, and that falsehood is still widely believed to this day. And now you're just a little bit smarter. Take these to your history teacher. I wanted to remind you guys that you can now watch all of my videos on Watchable.com or by downloading the Watchable mobile app. Be sure to check it out, it's really cool. Also, if you enjoyed this, I would greatly appreciate it if you pressed that like button, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you catch my next video. And if you want even more content right now, be sure to check out my vlog channel by clicking the link in the description. And equally as important, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, which is the best way to keep up with what I'm doing off of YouTube. I love your faces, and I will see you next video. Bye.